The peaceful Arcturians trusted the Galactic Council's invitation. After 30 years as Earth's allies, they deserved recognition. Most thought this summit would finally bring them into the galactic community properly. Captain Hannah Kim didn't share their optimism. She paced her office aboard the Earth diplomatic station orbiting Arcturus Prime, the blue-green homeworld of humanity's first alien friends. Something about the Council's sudden friendliness made her soldiers' instincts scream danger. Hannah studied the Arcturians for years. Their tall, slender bodies with iridescent blue skin and four-fingered hands made them look delicate, but they survived on a high-gravity world. Their compound eyes saw spectrums humans couldn't imagine. They valued harmony above all else, perhaps too much. Her desk terminal chimed. "Captain Kim, may I enter?" The voice belonged to Lieutenant June Park, her intelligence officer. "Come in," she said, straightening her uniform jacket. June's face was grim as he placed a datapad before her. "We intercepted this transmission between Council ships. The encryption was difficult, but we managed to break parts of it." Hannah's fingers moved across the screen, heart sinking with each word she read. Troop movements. Weapon preparations. Target coordinates matching Arcturian colony worlds. "They're planning an attack," she whispered. "This isn't a peace summit. It's a trap." Within hours, Hannah stood in the chamber of High Minister Zorath, the Arcturian leader. The curved walls mimicked their natural habitats, with soft blue light filling the room. "I bring grave news," Hannah said, bowing respectfully before showing him the evidence. "The Council plans to eliminate your delegation at the summit. These attack plans show they've positioned ships near all your major colonies." Zorath studied the data with his compound eyes, each facet reflecting tiny fragments of light. "Captain Kim, we deeply value Earth's friendship and your personal concern," he said, his translator rendering his clicks and whistles into smooth English. "But these plans might be contingencies only. The Council has given us their word." "Minister, please," Hannah urged, "at least delay your attendance until we can verify." "We cannot let fear guide our actions," Zorath interrupted gently. "For centuries, we have sought peaceful relations with the Council. If we reject their first real invitation because of suspicion, we may never get another chance." Hannah tried 3 more times to convince them. She contacted Earth Command, who reinforced the diplomatic station's defenses but could do little else without risking interstellar incident. 3 days later, Hannah sat in the station's command center, watching the live feed from the Council chambers. The Arcturian delegation of 12 stood proudly in their ceremonial blue robes, High Minister Zorath at their center. The Council chairperson, a tall reptilian from the Draconis system, welcomed them warmly. "The Galactic Council recognizes the Arcturian delegation," the translation came through. "We have much to discuss." Something in the chairperson's tone made Hannah lean forward. "Enhance Sector 4 of the feed," she ordered. The image zoomed in on a side door where armed guards were quietly entering. "Get me emergency communications to the delegation now," Hannah snapped. "Signals being blocked," her communications officer reported. On screen, the chairperson was still speaking. "Before we proceed with membership discussions, there is the matter of your unfortunate alliance choices." The Arcturians tilted their heads in confusion. "Your relationship with Earth," the chairperson continued, voice hardening. "A primitive species barely out of their gravity well, yet already showing dangerous military capabilities." "We do not understand," Zorath replied. "Earth has been nothing but peaceful toward." "Enough pretense," the chairperson cut him off. "The Council has voted. The Arcturian threat must be contained before they help the humans spread further." The guards raised their weapons. "No!" Hannah shouted, helplessly watching as the feed suddenly cut to static. Alarmed sirens blared through the station. Her tactical officer looked up from his console, face pale. "Captain, we're receiving distress calls from Arcturian colonies across 3 sectors. They're under attack." Hannah stared at the blank screen, rage building inside her. The Arcturians had trusted, had believed in peace until the very end. They never stood a chance. "Get me a direct line to Earth Command," she ordered, voice steady despite her fury. "And prepare my shuttle." I need to reach the surviving Arcturian leadership immediately. As her crew rushed to follow orders, Hannah made a silent promise to her fallen friends. The council thought they knew war? They had no idea what humans would do to protect their allies. They were about to learn. The United Defense Command Chamber on Earth fell silent as the footage played. The large screen showed Arcturian diplomats being shot down without warning. The blue-skinned aliens had no weapons. They raised their four-fingered hands in surrender, but the council guards kept firing until all 87 lay dead. Admiral Tay Park rose from his seat at the center table. His face showed no emotion, but his eyes burned with cold fury. At 65, his hair had turned fully gray, and the scars on his face told stories of earlier wars on Earth. "You have all seen the truth," he said quietly. The room remained silent. The Galactic Council has shown its true face. They speak of peace while planning genocide. Defense Minister Yuna Lee raised her hand. "This is horrible, Admiral, but we must try diplomatic channels first. Earth cannot fight the entire council." The Admiral's laugh held no humor. "Minister Lee, did you think Earth has been idle these 15 years? That we trusted the council's promises while our allies the Arcturians built our first faster-than-light ships?" He pressed a button on the table. Above them, a holographic display sprang to life. It showed hundreds of ships, warships, hidden throughout Earth's solar system. Some were stationed behind moons. Others floated in hidden bases in the asteroid belt. The largest were concealed in shipyards beneath the clouds of Jupiter. Gasps filled the room. Most of the civilian leadership had no idea these ships existed. "The deep space battle fleet is real," Admiral Park confirmed. "Built in secret by the military while the politicians talked peace. This is outrageous." Minister Lee stood up, her face red with anger. "The Senate never approved this. Where did the funding come from? How could you hide an entire fleet?" "From the black budget," Admiral Park replied calmly. "And with help from those who understood the threat. President Kong approved the project before most of you took office." All eyes turned to President Jaiwo Kong at the head of the table. The elderly man nodded slowly. "I authorized the initial program," he admitted. "The Arcturians warned us 15 years ago that the Council might one day turn on them and then on us. We hoped for the best but prepared for the worst." A communications officer interrupted. "Sir, Captain Kim is calling from her emergency vessel. She's requesting to address the command." "Put her through," ordered the president. Captain Hannah Kim's face appeared on the screen. Her uniform was torn and dirty. A cut above her eye had dried blood on it. Behind her, the emergency lights of a military transport ship flashed red. "With respect, Minister Lee," Kim said, her voice rough from smoke inhalation, "diplomatic channels have failed. I have 23 surviving Arcturians aboard this ship, all that's left of their diplomatic corps. Their colonies are being bombarded as we speak." The camera panned to show injured Arcturians lying on emergency cots. Their blue skin had paled to a sickly gray. "This is Ambassador Trell," Kim continued, focusing on one Arcturian who struggled to sit up. "He has information for Earth Command." The alien's voice was weak as the translator converted his clicks and whistles. "The Council fleet is already moving toward our homeworld. According to our intelligence, they will arrive in 3 days. After they finish with us, Earth is next on their list." Admiral Park turned to face the assembly. "We have 3 days to save an entire civilization. Our only allies in space. The ones who shared their technology with us when they could have kept it secret." Minister Lee lowered her head. "Admiral, how quickly could your fleet deploy?" 12 hours to full mobilization," he answered. "But we need authorization." The debate raged for nearly 20 minutes. Some argued for caution. Others demanded immediate action. In the end, President Kong called for a vote. The result was clear, 42-8 in favor of military response. President Kong rose slowly to his feet. For a moment, he looked every one of his 80 years. Then he straightened his back and spoke clearly into the record. As President of Earth, I hereby authorize Operation Righteous Thunder. Admiral Park, you have command of the fleet. Your mission is to protect the Arcturian homeworld and deliver justice to those responsible for this massacre. He looked directly at the camera where Captain Kim waited. Captain, return to Earth for reassignment. Your knowledge of Arcturian space will be vital. Then President Kong addressed the whole room, his voice gaining strength with each word. For 3 decades, humanity has tried to be a peaceful part of the galactic community. Today, we show the Council that peace was our choice, not our only option. His final words echoed in the silent chamber, may heaven help those who believed humanity had forgotten how to fight. The hidden shipyards of the solar system burst into action. For 15 years, these secret bases had built Earth's defense fleet. Now, those ships would finally see battle. At the Mars Orbital Facility, workers moved with urgent purpose. Giant bay doors opened for the first time, revealing warships that had never left their construction cradles. On Europa, Jupiter's icy moon, underground hangars released destroyers and cruisers into space. Even in the distant Kuiper Belt, beyond Neptune, hidden bases activated, sending forth the largest battleships humans had ever built. Captain Hannah Kim arrived at Earth Command Center 12 hours after her emergency return. Her wounds had been treated, but she refused rest. Instead, she studied the latest intelligence on Council movements. Admiral Park entered the command center, his uniform now displaying full battle decorations. Captain Kim, report to launching Bay 7. Sir, she asked, confused. You're being reassigned, he explained. The EDF Vengeance needs a captain. Her eyes widened. The Vengeance was Earth's most advanced destroyer, incorporating Arcturian technology with human innovations. It had been built in total secrecy. 2 hours later, Hannah stood on the bridge of her new command. The ship hummed with power around her. The crew worked at their stations with focused intensity. Most were young, they had trained for years but never faced real combat. Captain on bridge, announced the first officer. Hannah took her seat in the command chair. Status report. Commander Do-Hyun Choi, her executive officer, approached with a tablet. He was older than most of the crew, with experience from Earth's old naval forces. All systems operational, Captain. The fleet is assembling at the jump point. Hannah reviewed the data. 20 ships would form the first strike group. Their target, a Council battle group establishing a forward base at Proxima Centauri, the star system closest to Earth. Intelligence showed they were preparing for an eventual push toward the solar system. Time to departure, she asked. 30 minutes, Captain. Admiral Park sends his final orders. Do-Hyun handed her another tablet. Hannah read the mission parameters. Their objective was clear: destroy the Council forces at Proxima Centauri completely. Show no mercy. Leave no survivors. Send a message. She addressed the bridge crew. Many of you joined Earth's fleet hoping you'd never see combat. That peace would last. The Council has taken that choice from us. She stood, looking at each crew member. But remember why we fight. Not for revenge. For justice. For our friends who trusted until the end. The ship's communication officer turned from his station. Captain, fleet reports ready for jump. Hannah nodded. Send to all ships, prepare for hyperspace jump on my mark. The Vengeance moved into position at the head of the formation. 20 Earth warships, their dark hulls reflecting the distant sun, aligned for humanity's first interstellar military action. Jump in 3, 2, 1, mark. Space folded around them. The stars blurred, stretched, and then reformed as the fleet emerged near Proxima Centauri. Ahead, a Council installation orbited the star's habitable planet. 15 Council warships floated in defensive positions. On the Council flagship, an alarm sounded. Unknown vessels detected. They've appeared from nowhere. The Council commander, a veteran of many campaigns against weaker species, stared in disbelief at his sensor screen. Impossible. Humans don't have this technology. Identify them. Sir, they're Earth vessels. Launch fighters. Power weapons, the commander ordered, panic rising in his voice. But it was too late. On the Vengeance, Hannah watched the Council ships scrambling to battle positions. Target their command ships first, she ordered calmly. All vessels, weapons free. Show them what happens when you harm our friends. The Earth fleet opened fire simultaneously. Quantum displacement shields, technology the Council believed centuries beyond human capability, glowed blue around Earth's ships as they absorbed the panicked Council counterattack. The Vengeance fired its main weapon. A focused beam of antimatter struck the Council flagship, cutting through its shields like they weren't there. The massive ship split in half, secondary explosions flowering along its length. Direct hit, Captain, reported the weapons officer, surprise in his voice at how easily the enemy ship was destroyed. Throughout the battle space, Council ships exploded one after another. Their weapons couldn't penetrate Earth's shields. Their own defenses failed against Earth's advanced weaponry. From her command chair, Hannah watched the destruction without celebration. Continue firing until all targets are neutralized. In just 7 minutes, it was over. The Council battle group, 15 ships that had terrorized countless species, was reduced to floating debris. The space station surrendered immediately. Not a single Earth vessel was lost. Send to Admiral Park, Hannah ordered. Proxima Centauri secured. First strike successful. Awaiting further orders. She looked at the tactical display showing the path to Arcturus, where the Arcturian homeworld still awaited salvation. The real battle was just beginning. The Vengeance led Earth's fleet deeper into Council space. After their victory at Proxima Centauri, Admiral Park had ordered them to push forward. Their destination, Arcturus, the home system of their Arcturian allies. Captain Hannah Kim stood on the bridge, studying the star map. They had passed through 3 systems already. In each one, they found more evidence of the Council's true plans. Captain, you should see this, said Lieutenant June, bringing her a data tablet. The screen showed files recovered from a Council outpost they had captured. Plans for attacks on not just Arcturian worlds, but Earth colonies as well. Detailed studies of human weaknesses. Lists of Earth cities to target first. They never intended peace with any of us, Hannah said quietly. The Arcturians were just the first target because they helped us develop faster than light travel, June added. Hannah's fleet grew as they advanced. After news of the Proxima Centauri battle spread, some Council ships surrendered without fighting. Earth's show of force had shocked the galaxy. On the 4th day of their advance, Communications Officer Gene Song called out from his station. Captain, we're receiving transmissions from Council vessels. Multiple signals. Hannah turned. Are they demanding our surrender? She asked with a small smile. No, Captain. It's strange. The Tellarite and Morrican fleets are contacting us. They say they're defecting. Jean looked up in surprise. They claim they were never informed of the massacre. They say the Council leadership kept them in the dark. Hannah approached the communications station. The screen showed alien commanders, one furry with tusks, the other tall with ridge-like features on their face. This is Captain Kim of Earth Fleet. Explain yourselves. The Tellarite commander spoke first. Captain, I am Fleet Commander Gore. What you discovered at the outposts, most Council members knew nothing about it. The attack on the Arcturians was ordered by the Inner Circle only. Many of us were told it was a defense against Arcturian aggression. But news of your victories has spread truth with it, added the Morrican commander. The evidence you've released cannot be denied. The Inner Circle lied to all of us. Hannah considered their words carefully. And now you want to join us? We want justice, Captain, said Commander Gore. For the Arcturians and for ourselves. We were used as tools by the Inner Circle. Within hours, ships from 5 different Council species had joined Earth's fleet. The Council was fracturing from within as the truth spread. Admiral Park contacted the Vengeance. Captain Kim, our long-range sensors show the Council attack on Arcturus has begun. You must reach the Arcturian homeworld immediately. Hannah ordered maximum speed. When they dropped out of hyperspace at Arcturus, a terrible sight greeted them. A council armada, over 50 ships, was bombarding the Arcturian planet. The blue-green world already showed dark scars where cities had been destroyed. All ships, engage the enemy, Hannah ordered. Priority to vessels actively firing on the planet. The space around Arcturus erupted in battle. Earthships, now joined by their new allies, tore into the Council fleet. The Council forces were caught by surprise, trapped between Earth's attack and the planet they were bombarding. For 7 hours, the battle raged. The Council flagship, a massive dreadnought, continued directing the fight even as its support ships were destroyed around it. "We need to take out their command," Hannah said, watching the dreadnought unleash another barrage at the planet. "Prepare a boarding team." Commander Dohayan looked shocked. "Captain, boarding actions are extremely dangerous." "So is letting that ship continue firing," she replied. "I'll lead the team myself." 20 minutes later, Hannah stood in the Vengeance's launch bay with 30 soldiers. They wore advanced combat armor, another technology humans had developed in secret. "Our goal is the bridge," she told them, checking her pulse rifle. "We capture the Council Inner Circle members alive if possible. They must face justice for what they've done." The boarding shuttle launched, protected by fighter escorts. It dodged enemy fire, heading straight for the dreadnought. Using a cutting beam, they created their own entrance through the hull. Hannah was first through the breach. An alien guard fired at her, but her armor deflected the shot. She returned fire, dropping the guard with a stun blast. "Move forward," she ordered. "Keep prisoners if you can. We need witnesses for what happens next." The team fought their way through the massive ship, encountering heavy resistance near the command deck. Hannah took a hit to her shoulder but kept advancing. Finally, they reached the bridge doors. Bodies of guards lay behind them. Hannah's team set charges on the sealed doors. "This ends today," she said, checking her rifle's charge. "On my mark. 3, 2, 1. The doors blew open, and Hannah led the charge into the heart of the Council's power, ready to deliver Earth's justice. The Council capital station hung in space like a giant wheel, its lights glimmering against the darkness. Inside, the Grand Assembly Hall had never been so full. Representatives from 80 different species filled the seats. Many wore their formal attire. Others came in military uniforms, standing guard at the entrances. This was no ordinary council meeting. Today, the hall served as a courtroom. At the center stood 7 aliens of different species. Once, they had been the inner circle of the Galactic Council, the most powerful beings in known space. Now they stood in restraints, surrounded by guards from Earth and former Council worlds. Captain Hannah Kim watched from her position near the speaking platform. Her uniform was freshly pressed, but the burn scar on her face from the boarding action remained visible. She had refused cosmetic treatment until after the trial. Admiral Tay Park stepped to the platform. Despite his age, he stood tall and spoke in a clear voice that carried throughout the hall. "Members of the galactic community," he began. 3 weeks ago, the Inner Circle ordered the massacre of Arcturian diplomats and the bombardment of their worlds. This was not an isolated event, but part of a larger plan we uncovered. He activated a holographic display. Documents, communications, and battle plans appeared in the air for all to see. "The evidence is clear," he continued. The Inner Circle planned the systematic elimination of species they deemed threatening to their power. The Arcturians were first because they helped Earth develop space travel. We were to be next. Murmurs filled the hall as representatives saw their own species' names on future target lists. Captain Kim stepped forward with more evidence. She presented recorded testimony from Council military commanders who had been lied to. Each told the same story: they had been told they were fighting aggressive species, not conducting mass murder. "Most damning," Kim said, holding up a data crystal, "is this communication between Inner Circle members, where they discuss how to hide their actions from the full council." When she played the recording, gasps echoed through the hall. The 7 accused shifted uncomfortably as their own voices revealed their guilt. An elder Arcturian rose from his seat. His blue skin was pale from weeks of stress, but his voice remained strong. As the surviving senior member of the Arcturian government, I call for justice, he said. But not vengeance. We were always a peaceful people, and we remain so even now. Admiral Park nodded respectfully to the Arcturian before addressing the assembly again. Earth did not come to destroy the Council, he said. We did not come seeking vengeance, though we would have been justified. We came seeking justice, not just for the Arcturians, but for all who have suffered under the corruption of those who twisted this council to their own ends. He looked directly at the 7 accused. You believed humans were primitive. That we lacked the technology to challenge you. You were wrong. But your greatest mistake was believing we would abandon our friends. The trial lasted 2 days. In the end, the verdict was unanimous. The 7 council members who had orchestrated the massacre were sentenced by their peers to life imprisonment on a remote mining world. The Galactic Council would continue, but transformed. A new charter was written, with safeguards against the concentration of power that had allowed the inner circle to act without oversight. 1 month later, Captain Kim stood in the new Alliance chamber aboard Earth's orbital diplomatic station. Her new uniform bore the insignia of Admiral, a promotion she had accepted reluctantly, preferring command of a ship to a desk. President Kong and the Arcturian elder signed a document projected in holographic form for all to see, the founding charter of the Interstellar Defense Accord. 12 other former Council species had already added their signatures. This alliance stands for 3 principles, President Kong declared to the assembled dignitaries and the billions watching via transmission across known space. Mutual defense, shared knowledge, and swift justice. He looked up from the document, his eyes moving from the Arcturian representatives to the other alien diplomats. Let this be known throughout the galaxy, he said, his voice firm and clear. Earth protects its friends. Earth remembers its enemies. And Earth always delivers justice. Admiral Hannah Kim watched the ceremony with mixed feelings. The cost had been high, millions of Arcturian lives, thousands of human soldiers. Yet from tragedy had come something new. Not peace through fear, as the inner circle had wanted, but peace through mutual respect and protection. As the ceremony ended, she thought of her first Arcturian friend, who had died saving her during the initial attack. She had promised him justice. That promise was now fulfilled. The galaxy would never be the same again. And perhaps, just perhaps, it would be better. The end.